Hello, my name is Jennifer Snodgrass, and I'm going to be telling you about my classroom observations. So, I did my observations at Heritage Middle School. It's actually a school that I went to, and I did them with Mrs. Barlow there. She's the head of the math department, and I actually was in her class her first year that she was ever a teacher. The grade level that I observed is 7th and 8th grade honors math, and it was in Meridian, Idaho. And yeah, so let's get going here. So for intentional and unintentional examples of socialization between student and teacher, I noticed that the way that the students interacted with each other was very interesting. In her class, it seems like she had such a positive learning environment, and all of the students felt comfortable talking to each other, interacting with each other. It was like a very safe environment. No one was bullying each other or anything like that. Throughout the semester, there was some like jokes made and stuff like that. But everyone felt very, very comfortable. At least it seemed to me. For student to teacher, I noticed that her students also felt comfortable talking to Mrs. Barlow. There was also a very big level of respect with her. They would constantly come up to her before class, talk about like their weekend to her, and then once class started, they felt comfortable like raising their hand, asking her questions, and then they always wanted to come and talk to her. So that's one. And then for teacher to students as a group, Mrs. Barlow was able to gain control of her classroom very easily. Like I said, she had that very big level of respect, and she very clearly communicated her expectations. She had posters of all of her classroom rules and objectives written as like, I will do this week. I will be able to complete this by the end of the week. So I think that helped them know exactly what they were needing to do and helped with their socialization. Okay, so then some examples of socializing agents. So my specific school's function as a socializing agent was, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. Okay, so the school socializes kids by allowing them a safe environment to be able to talk to each other, and it's a place that's away from their like home life and the community. That way it's just different socially. And then my mentor teacher acts as a socializing agent. Kind of, as I said before, she kind of facilitates everything in her classroom. And let's see here. Yeah, so she facilitates everything in her classroom, and she has these expectations in her classroom and everything that help her students interact with each other in a positive way. For example, like when they were taking tests and stuff, she would set up the desks in rows to make sure that they weren't talking to each other. And then for like group activity days, she would face them in groups of 4. That way they had lots more interaction and were almost encouraged to talk to each other. And then, what have you observed as a peer group acting as a socialization agent in your classroom? So for this one, I put kind of the groups as well. I said that these students got to choose their table groups at the beginning of the semester. I think this helped a lot with their socialization because it allowed them to be like collaborative with each other, but they also got to talk and group with students that they knew a little bit, so it helped them feel a little bit more comfortable, and they were able to go in front of their peers kind of as groups versus just by themselves, because that can be a lot more intimidating for students. And then let's see, what are the effects, both positive and negative, mass media had as a socializing agent with the students? This was a very interesting topic to me. at Heritage, they had personal devices, like little laptops, that the school checked out to each student at the beginning of the year, and they were able to use them for all of their assignments. Mass media, amazing. Technology, amazing, except when it's not. So for the mass media, I had a couple examples in my journals and my essay and everything, but for example, there were a few times where Mrs. Barlow wanted to use technology, mass media, for her assignment for that day, and her students were unable to focus, so then she had to convert it to more of a writing on the board, I'm talking at the classroom kind of lesson. However, it was a great agent for tracking student progress and allowing them to have their own way of technology, especially at school. I know a lot of students don't necessarily have access to that kind of stuff outside of school, so it's nice that they were able to take those things home and use them. Let's see here. Okay, so my key takeaways were mostly positive, if not all positive. So some things that I would like to take away from these observations is the respect factor. I think that Mrs. Barlow had so much respect because she was so respectful to her students, and that was kind of a mutually earned thing between them. I also would like to take away just her clarity in the classroom. She had very clear expectations, rules. That way everyone knew what was going on and what they were supposed to be doing, and I think that was very impactful to them, as well as the collaborative desks versus separate desks. I think that is a great tool to utilize in the classroom to make it so that they are doing what you want them to do. I honestly would not say that I had any negative experiences. She was a fantastic teacher to observe, and I hope that maybe I can observe again. So those were my observations, and I had an amazing class with you. Thanks. Bye.